Hey, what's up, guys? How are you doing today? Got a special guest back. Hasn't been here for a couple months, man. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing all right, man. How you doing?
Not bad, not bad.
Yeah,
Wasn't feeling good last night, man. Had a
yeah.
massive, I don't know, migraine, sinus infection. My
Oh
nose
man.
started bleeding last night,
Oh man.
and in the back of my head, all the way down my neck, it just a stabbing pain. I thought I was having a stroke or something. I don't know, dude. I was freaking out. So I
Yeah.
went home, took an ibuprofen, put an ice pack on, woke up around 12 in the afternoon, and
Hmm.
I feel much better now, but I'm just trying to take it easy. But
Yeah.
I just got done playing Starfield a little while ago, so
Right
yeah, that
on.
makes me a little happier. So
Yeah.
PlayStation Plus, man,
Yeah.
the increase
Yeah.
35%,
Yeah.
35%. Um, I'm gonna let you because you just read the article on it, and
Hmm.
then I'll kind of chime in with my thoughts on it. 'Cause I have a lot to say about PlayStation Plus. I got a lot to say
Hmm.
about Sony in general, especially Jim Ryan. Jim Ryan is the person I have the most beef with. But yeah, go ahead,
Yeah.
man. Let us know what's going on.
So yeah, PlayStation Plus, they had a 35% increase. Everyone, especially PlayStation, they're in the camp of PlayStation. They have a problem with this because Xbox, they just had an increase too, but
Mhm.
it's more of the inflation, trying to keep up with
Yeah,
inflation. With
yeah.
PlayStation Plus, it's a clear like trying to get your money. They're trying to reach in your pocket and take your wallet. It seems like that's what's going on with this one.
Now I got a question. I'm
Mhm,
not because I haven't been a PlayStation Plus member for a couple years.
mhm.
Isn't this the second time it went up this year? I thought it went up like $1 earlier this year.
Now, I know that they had an increase on their consoles, I wanna
Yeah,
say,
yeah,
like,
about
earlier.
$50. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but as far as their, subscription services, I'm not sure if they did. As far as I know, this is the first increase, in a while since,
Yeah.
for their subscription services. Mhm,
Okay, okay. I got you. Yeah, I don't know why I thought for some reason there was an increase earlier this year
mhm,
when they did the whole new when they revamped PlayStation Plus.
mhm,
Because it used to be PlayStation Plus, PlayStation Now. They
mhm.
folded it all in. You had PlayStation
Yeah,
Plus Essentials, Extra,
mhm,
Premium,
yeah,
and at the time, Premium, which is the highest tier, which gives you access to PS1, PS2, PSP, and all that stuff when they actually release games for those things. Uh, that
yeah,
was like that was more money than Game Pass. That was like 18, $19 a month,
mhm,
where Game Pass, I believe at the time, was like $16 a month. And you got day
mhm,
and date games and stuff. And I
yeah,
remember I was gonna sign up for the new PlayStation like premium and all that. And I looked and like they didn't have a very big library of PS2 or PS1 games. Like I was
yeah,
expecting like Final Fantasy and like
yeah,
all these other games. There was nothing. And I was like, well, this doesn't seem worth it. So I did sign up for the essentials because I
mhm,
wanted to play like Miles Morales,
yeah,
Stray. They
mhm,
have a lot of
yeah,
some of the older PS5 games up there, and I
yeah,
played through some of those, and that's cool. But then the increase happened, and I was like, ain't no way, 35% increase?
yeah.
Nah,
Yeah,
nah.
and Reddit users are already, hopping on there, trying to push cancel PlayStation Plus. So, and I talked about this in a video. Who's to say how many cancellations they're going to have? But they are going to have some.
Oh
That's
yeah,
no doubt about that.
yeah. Well,
Mm,
the thing is, so a lot of these companies are increasing their streaming services,
mhm,
right? Like I canceled Paramount Plus, I canceled HBO Max, I canceled a lot of these because they're all going up. And
yep,
even if each one of them goes up just $2, that at the end of the month, that's still a large, a large window of
yep,
increase across the board.
yeah,
PlayStation though, I don't know what the hell they were thinking. Like they increased it 35%. Their premium tier is now $20 more.
yeah,
And they're not giving you anything with it though. It's
right,
not like they're saying, oh, here we go. We're gonna start throwing in all kinds of PS2, Xbox, or not Xbox, whoa, PS2, PS3 and PSP. Like I would understand if they throw in more for
mhm.
the value. They didn't add anything, you
And that's
know?
the biggest thing that people are talking about. Like whenever you have an increase in your subscription service, there has to be an equal amount of increase in your value. So if you're not
Yeah,
giving me more and you're charging me more, that's a really good time for me to go ahead and like reevaluate the subscriptions I have, and you're not going to make the cut. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
So, but this right here, PlayStation increasing it by so much, it's just them trying to see what they can get away with. Like PlayStation is notorious for this. You know, back when the PlayStation 3 came out, they thought they can charge, as much
Six
as
hundred
they did.
dollars for a
Right.
console.
And
Yeah,
I was thinking about this a long time, right? So you and I, when the PlayStation 3 came out, we weren't really buying those consoles. There were some of us that were, but
yeah,
I didn't have that kind of money to buy a console like that. So if
yeah,
we were buying consoles, it was our parents that were doing it,
yeah.
right? And they were looking at that price tag and they were like, no, we'll go with another console. You're not getting the PlayStation for Christmas. You're getting an Xbox, right? And
Well, I don't know how much younger you are of me, or more younger than I am, because I was buying my own consoles back
mhm.
into the PS2 era.
Yeah, no.
So the PS2 era was the first console I bought. I bought that on launch day. I saved my money all summer to get it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, you're right, because the 360 was like $300 compared to a
Mhm.
$600 PS3, and
Yep.
that was Sony being arrogant,
Yep.
because the PS2, I believe, is the greatest console ever sold. Like, I
Yep.
think it's sold the more than any other console, and
Yep.
they were like, "Oh well, we could just do this," and
Mhm.
they launched with a two-tier PS3 console. One was $499, one was $599. Meanwhile, you have the Xbox 360, which was $299,
Yep.
and the Xbox 360 took off because people were like, "We're not paying," and it wasn't. It didn't help that the PS3 didn't have any launch titles for the
Right.
longest time.
Yep.
They had like Resistance Fall. I mean, it was like over a year before Metal Gear Solid 4 came out,
Mhm.
before we got God of War 3 or something like that.
Yeah.
So they didn't really help themselves. But
Mhm.
with PlayStation Plus being increased now, I
Mhm.
feel like we're getting back to Sony being arrogant,
Mhm.
because they're like, well, we're gonna increase it. Like, what are they gonna do? Are they gonna jump over to Xbox? Like, they're the market leader.
Yeah.
Think about this. Since the PS4 generation ended
Mhm.
and the PS5 era started, right? Look how anti-consumer PlayStation's been.
Yeah.
They start off by raising the prices of the games from $60 to $70. That was PlayStation that mandated that.
Yeah.
Then they increased the price of their consoles 2 years after launch. Usually the prices go down. They
Mhm.
increased it by $50. So they increased the price of games. They
Yep.
increased the price of their consoles. Then they released a PlayStation VR 2 that
Mhm.
costs just as much as the console.
Yeah.
Then they release a portable remote play device that looks like a controller was cut in half with a tablet in it, and it's
Yeah.
$200. But
Mhm.
that portal device is, you have to have it connect. It's remote play. It
Mhm.
doesn't stream any of your PlayStation Plus streaming games. You can't hook up Bluetooth earbuds to it. You have to buy Sony's earbuds for it. That's
Mhm.
$200.
Yep.
So like they're they're being very anti-consumer, and I've go like, every time I try to bring this up, people go, "Well, you're just an Xbox fanboy." I'm not an Xbox fanboy. I play everything. I
Yeah.
don't care if it's Switch, PC, whatever. I go
Mhm.
see. I don't have allegiance to a company. I have
Right.
allegiance to franchises and games. I'm a Final
Right.
Fantasy fan. I
Mhm.
bought a PS5 to play Final Fantasy 16.
Yeah.
I'm a Halo fan. I bought an Xbox for Halo.
Yep.
When the Xbox One came out, I did not buy an Xbox One until Master Chief Collection launched. Then I
Right
bought it,
on.
because
Yeah.
I buy consoles for the franchises,
Yep.
Zelda, Mario.
Mhm.
So I don't understand why people have allegiance to a company,
Mhm.
because I think Phil Spencer is a little more consumer friendly than Jim
Oh, yeah.
Ryan,
Yeah. Oh,
and
yeah.
I think, because Xbox, they have like these fan expos where they meet up with the fans. Jim
Mhm.
Ryan never meets up with the fans ever, you know. But at the end of the day, Microsoft and Sony, all they care about is how they can squeeze as much money out of the consumer as possible. But you have these people that are like sheep, and they defend Sony, no matter what they do, and that's not right.
Mhm.
It's like if you're spending the money, you should demand more from your products and people you're buying from. Even
Mhm.
the judge during the FTC trial,
Yeah.
when they brought up, well, Game Pass is going to hurt Sony, and the judge like, we're not here to protect Sony, we're here to protect the consumer. If Sony
Exactly.
wants to compete, they can release games day and date just like Game Pass, but
That's
they
right.
don't do that. And for them to increase it by 35%, I think that's absolutely ludicrous.
Yeah.
And I think some action from the fans, they need to go forward and start protesting this stuff, because if not, then you're going to keep having that arrogant PlayStation
Mhm.
company. They need to be humbled like back in the PS3 days.
Yeah.
Because when
And
the PS4 came out, PS4 was great.
yeah.
It was like $399. They had
Mhm.
Killzone Day One, all this stuff.
Yeah.
Very consumer friendly. And then they got cocky again.
Yeah.
You know,
And this is them, kind of returning back to form. They are ultimately a company, so they're in it to make money. The problem is they're trying to see how far they can push it,
yeah,
and consumers are going to have to be the ones that kind of push back and say, "We're not paying those prices," just like back in the PS3 days,
yeah.
right? But as far as the PlayStation Portal and the headphones and things like that, so I was in the same boat. I was definitely, railing against them as far as, making their own ecosystem and making it so, that everything kind of plays together and only
Yeah,
their stuff plays well together, right?
yeah.
And so I was thinking about it and watched this video. I can't remember the name of the guy, but he did make a lot of sense. He said, like with this, it's no different than, let's say, you know, Apple or Samsung.
Yeah,
They have their own, earbuds and things like that that only work with their
yeah.
ecosystem, and that makes sense. I get it, but at the same time, I wish it wasn't that way.
I
But
think
I
I think
understand why.
Apple's anti-consumer too.
I well, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
they have a special, like, didn't they just lose a lawsuit because they had special cords that charge their phones when everybody else uses UPC or USB-C, port
Mhm.
USB-C.
Yeah.
They're just anti-consumer,
I'm
but
I'm not sure about that.
yeah,
But
I thought I heard something about that.
right on, right on. But ultimately it is anti-consumer, but they are competing with Samsung. They're like, well, and I just read an article the other day that Apple, they are now at like $3 trillion as far as their worth. Is freaking nuts, freaking now they're way ahead of Microsoft right now,
Yeah, yeah.
and they were on the back foot. But um I get it, but I don't like it. I get the PlayStation Portal, and then just something on the PlayStation Portal. There is going to be a market for this. How big? I don't know. I'm probably going to grab that. I'm probably going to
Don't
get the
don't don't do
PlayStation
it,
Portal.
man. Don't
I'm
do
probably
it.
going to get it because I mean, I have my PlayStation 5 upstairs, and I have my
But you have a
extend.
phone, right?
Well, that's okay. So I've tried to play it on my tablet, my phone, and it's just not. It's not a seamless kind of connection,
Yeah,
right?
but do you think the portal is gonna do this better? I mean, because the
Yes,
portal,
because
okay.
it's made for that exact thing. So it's going to be able to, that connection is going to be like like any other thing they have connected to it, like uh with Samsung and their
Yeah,
watches
yeah,
and things
yeah,
like that, right? It's going to
yeah.
be a seamless connection like that. So my thing is my PlayStation 5 is upstairs. I have my extended hard drive connected to it, right? And it's a hassle to disconnect that, take it downstairs, plug it into my PS4
Mhm.
so I have all the games that I, play up here. So I can keep my extended drive in my PS5, grab the portal, take it downstairs. You're going to be able to turn your PS5 on from the portal. That's really helpful, So I think I am in this market for this because my kids and my wife, they spend most of their time downstairs. I feel like Gollum coming in here and to play video games, So it's gonna be nice to be able to go down there, uh, play some God of War, be able to press pause, be able to, play with the kids and all that good stuff. I am in this market. I am in
So
the market for this.
I got something to help you here. It's called an Xbox. Okay. Because you can have your Xbox in the living room upstairs. You go down to your
Mhm.
computer, play it seamlessly on your computer. Then you
Yep.
go onto your phone, play it seamlessly on your phone. Um, no, but here's the thing.
Mhm.
So when the portal was first announced, I was like, okay, I'm down because I
Right.
kind of want it too.
Mhm.
Because my girl, she's either on the TV or
Mhm.
she likes
Mhm.
when I go to bed with her, but I still want a
Yep.
game. So my PS5 is hooked up to my computer. I don't want to bring my PS5. Like it was really hard when I was playing Final Fantasy 16 because I wanted to level up, but I didn't want to bring my PS5 into the bedroom.
Yeah.
So I wanted for what you just said.
Mhm.
I'm not paying $200 though. If it was 130,
Yeah.
sure.
Mhm.
Because it's a DualShock controller with a tablet on it.
Yes.
Figure the DualShock controller is about $60-$70. Then you add like another 50 or 60 for the tablet, like
Mhm.
120, $130. Like
Mhm.
I would have bought it day one. There
Yeah.
ain't no way I'm paying $200 for that thing.
Right on.
And I gotta see, and it's gonna depend on what the reviews are.
Yes. Yep.
I really want the PlayStation 2 VR.
Mhm.
I was the first day adopter of the first PSVR. Like I waited in line for 12 hours to get one. I loved it. But
Yeah.
I'm not paying $500. I can go
Yeah.
buy an Xbox Series S for my bedroom or
Yeah.
another PS5 for my bedroom for the
Yeah.
price of a PlayStation VR.
And I
You know?
100% agree with you on that one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just to me, it's just I understand like they want people in their ecosystem.
Mhm.
I get that, right? You want to be able to have like you know, just like Apple, you want to have all
Mhm.
the accessories and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think you need like third party stuff too. Like these
Mhm.
third party companies need to come out with stuff.
Yeah.
I know you can buy the PlayStation Backbone for your phone. You said it does
Mhm.
give you a seamless connection. I
Mhm.
haven't tried remote play on my phone, so I don't know how well that is.
Right, right.
I do have the Xbox Backbone
Dope.
the Xbox backbone for
Yeah.
and it works fine. Like I played Halo on it,
Okay.
but um I don't know. I got to see how reviews are for
Yeah.
it. It's just
100%.
right now and I used to be a massive PlayStation fan.
Yeah.
Massive. Like I remember like I used to criticize Xbox so much. Like Xbox One with that whole TV cable box, I
Yeah.
criticized it so much, but I just don't like how anti-consumer that the company has been. And
Yeah.
even on the stand with the FTC, when they asked Jim Ryan, they're like, well, if you owned Activision, would you make Call of Duty exclusive? And he's like, I'd rather not say. Because that son of a bitch was going to do it.
Yeah.
He was like, hell yeah, any chance he can to make like people are review bombing Starfield right now because
Mhm.
it's not on PlayStation.
Yeah.
But if you listen to the FTC court trial,
Mhm.
the only reason why Xbox bought Bethesda because they got a heads up that Jim Ryan was going to make it a PlayStation 5 exclusive. And
Yeah.
they're like, we can't miss this game too.
Right.
So they just said, all right, you fuck around, you're gonna find out. And they just bought the
Mhm.
whole damn company because um
Yeah.
Deathloop
Yeah.
was a year exclusive to PlayStation 5.
Mhm.
There was
Final
another
Fantasy. And now they're
Final
kicking themselves in
Fantasy.
the butt for that one.
Yeah. Well, now, dude, I got so much to say about Final Fantasy. It's
Mhm.
ridiculous. But yeah, now Microsoft signed a deal with Square, so hopefully we start getting Final Fantasy games on the Xbox. But there
Mhm.
was another Bethesda game that was a full-on year release
Mhm.
for PlayStation 5 because
Mhm.
Jim Ryan was just going and buying all these third third party companies
Mhm.
exclusives and stuff. But yeah, they did it with Final Fantasy. The sales for Final Fantasy 16 is horrendous.
Yeah.
Horrendous.
Mhm.
You make it on a PS5 exclusive, right? So
Yeah.
there's not that many PS5 owners because
Right.
the consoles are still getting into stores for the very first time. It's been
Mhm.
3 years, but
Yeah.
this is the first year they're in stores. So you got like what, maybe 40, 50 million people that own a PlayStation 5 compared
Yeah.
to PS4 that has like 100 and something.
Mhm.
When Final Fantasy 15 came out, it was on Xbox and PlayStation, and that's the best-selling Final Fantasy game of all time.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make sense, man. Like, I don't like third-party exclusives. I don't
Yeah.
like it. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous. Um, Spider-Man is going to be big next month. I plan on picking up Spider-Man,
Oh, yeah.
but I don't know. I really don't like the anti-consumer. I don't like the fact that they raised the price of the PlayStation Plus and not
Oh,
giving
man.
you anything.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. Right? If you want to increase, dude, if they would say $20 a month,
Mhm.
and give us day one exclusives, I would sign up in a heartbeat. It was like,
Yeah.
man, you're telling me I can play Spider-Man and $20 a month? I'm like, all right, I'll sign up in a heartbeat. But they don't want to
Yeah.
do that, you
Yeah.
know? So
So, I
it's
mean, when
depressing.
you look at PlayStation and it's juxtaposed with Xbox, you can tell that Xbox is way more consumer friendly, right?
Yeah,
Um, and I'm waiting for. So I think eventually Xbox is going to they're going to get out of making consoles. I mean, they
I
put
think
more
so too.
emphasis on their Game Pass anyway, so it
Yeah,
makes more sense that they're just going to get out of the console game, let PlayStation have it.
yeah.
And my thing is you're spending so much money making consoles anyway. It's better. It's a better kind of it's a better build, a better value for the company if they can just stop making consoles altogether, put that
Yeah.
money in their pocket, and then maybe. So this is my little. I'm hoping they make like a little device where you can just hook it to your
TV?
TV and
They
then
they
just play
they
Xbox
they
that way.
are. They
Oh,
are. There's already a prototype, but it's not finalized yet. I forgot
yeah.
what the hell the thing is called. It's like Project Scarlet or something like
Oh,
that.
dude. So
Yeah.
yeah. So with that, I've wanted to get into Xbox. I love Gears of War. I like Halo, not as much though.
Ah, I
But
love Halo.
I know. But so that right there's in all of their indie titles, dude. I really want to, get into Xbox. So this little device is going to be perfect for me.
Yeah.
They got my money. It's that fry meme. Just take my money. I'm
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No,
I'm gonna buy
I
that.
do agree. I think maybe not next generation,
Mhm.
but the generation after that, I think because we're talking about like 15 years. If we're talking about 2 generations from now, I
Mhm.
think there's not going to be any hardware for Xbox.
Yeah.
If it is, I think it's going to be like a little Roku device, and that's it.
Yeah.
Because by
Yeah.
that time, streaming, like I use XCloud,
Yeah.
right? So if there's a game that I want to play and I don't know if I'm going to like it,
Mhm.
instead of downloading it, I'll use xCloud,
Yeah.
try it out, and if I really like it, then I would download it.
Yeah.
So I really like that aspect of it. I also
Mhm.
like the aspect of I can play it at my TV, and then I can
Mhm.
come over, fire up Game Pass on my computer,
Mhm.
and the save it picks up right where I left off. Same thing
Yeah.
with my phone. So I think they have the right mindset.
Yeah.
Xbox does. I think they're very, very pro consumer
Yeah.
compared to PlayStation. But let's be honest.
Mhm.
If the roles were reversed and Xbox was the number one market leader,
Mhm.
they'd probably be just as arrogant as PlayStation. When you're number one, you know, you're number one. So
Yeah. I
you can
mean,
get away with stuff.
especially like when we kick it back to the Xbox 360 and they were booming. And the thing about it is they cut so many corners. So a
Yeah.
bunch of their consumers got the red ring of death, you
Dude, I
know?
had it 12 times.
Yeah. So we know that obviously, they're still a company. They're still about making money.
Mhm.
But I'm not sure if they were in the top spot, they would still be as uh be a PlayStation like. PlayStation, they are I don't know, man. I don't know what to say about them. I've been with PlayStation since the first PlayStation came out,
Me too.
and this is funny. I felt so dirty. Like I moved over here like 12 years ago, and I couldn't find a PlayStation 3 anywhere, so I had to get an Xbox 360, and I felt so dirty buying it. But nowadays, I'm too old to get into the back and forth. It's like who has the best deal?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
one of the things about Xbox too that's going to really set them back is the Xbox Series S, right? So a lot of the games they want coming out, they want to, run at specs that are for the Xbox Series X.
X, yeah, yeah.
But Phil Spencer came out and said, like, no game's going to release unless it can release on the X and
Yeah,
S.
yeah.
So I want to say one, I can't remember the title, but they're not going to be able to
Baldur's
release
Gate.
it. There you go. There, yes, perfect. Yep. They're not going to be able to release it until it's optimized for the S2.
Yeah. Well, there's been some confirmation on that one because
Mhm.
they couldn't get split screen co-op to work on the Series S.
Right. Yeah.
And Microsoft has a clause where it has to be in parity with the Series X. And the problem is Xbox fans were pissed because,
Mhm.
dude, this Baldur's Gate 3 is probably going to win Game of the Year. Like,
Yeah.
I haven't played it yet. I have a friend at work that played it. He says it's amazing. And
Mhm.
so it was going to be released on it released on PS5 this week, and it was going to get released in 2024
Mhm.
for Xbox because of that whole problem with the Series S. But after they heard the outcry from the fans, Phil
Mhm.
Spencer had a conversation with the people from Baldur's Gate, and they're like, "Look, if it's not working split screen, get rid of it. We need this game this year." So
Right.
even though we don't get it day one with PlayStation 5, we
Mhm.
are getting it before the end of this year, which is like sometime in the next couple months. So
Yeah.
th- I like the Series S. I actually personally want to get a Series S. I seen one at a pawn shop for like $150, and I
Yeah.
want it for the bedroom because, dude, this thing is like super, super small,
Yeah.
and I want to get one just so I can be able to play my games in the bedroom and whatnot.
Mhm.
But I like the idea because I think Microsoft has taken a PC mentality to gaming.
Yeah.
Like you can buy a game on Steam,
Mhm.
and depending on your PC, it will be how good you play the game. If you want to play Baldur's Gate at like 120 frames per second, 4K, then you need
Yeah.
like a 3080 or something like that. But if you have a
Yeah.
lower setting, like a 2080, and I think that's the way they took it. I don't think
Mhm.
developers are taking that mentality because they're developing for the Series X, the
Right.
PS5, and then they have to kind of downscale it. But I
Yeah.
think if they would go in there and say, okay, well, games are going to be like 1080p, 30 frames per second on the Series S. And my brother owns a Series S. He doesn't have a Series X, and he's playing Starfield on it. He's playing like all kinds of stuff on it. He likes
Yeah.
it,
Right on.
But I think right now Microsoft needs to get rid of that parity clause. If you
Yes.
can't if you
Yep.
can't get something to work on both, then
Mhm.
just get rid of that feature.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah,
you
that's
can
true.
still release the games.
Yeah.
So, but
Yeah. But
yeah,
and I I agree 100% with you on that. Um, if it's not working on Series X, uh, or if it's not working on S, but it works on S, just take out the feature for S and then release it. But the thing about it is, when they came out and said that the it's gonna work on X and S, a lot of fans bought the S because of that,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
A lot of
It was the
fans
most
like
available too in stores. You could find S's everywhere at the time.
right. So I think they're gonna have an issue kind of going back on that. It's going to upset a lot of fans who went and got the
Yeah,
S because
yeah,
it's cheaper and it has all the same features
yeah,
as far as gaming as the X. So
yeah,
going back on that is going to be a problem. I think that's why they haven't, because I mean with this issue with Baldur's Gate 3, that should have been a simple cut it out,
yeah,
let's get it
yeah,
released, right?
yeah,
But if you're going to promise the fans that, and they took that in, spent the money on the S because you said that,
yeah.
you're going to have an issue being like, you know what, guys, sorry, we're not going to have this feature on the
Yeah,
on the
because it,
S.
it has less memory and stuff in the Series S, so it's not
Mhm.
gonna be able to do everything the Series X does.
Yeah.
I understand they want to keep features the same, but like the majority of people don't play couch co-op on the PlayStation 5 or Xbox.
Hmm.
Nintendo still does couch co-op. They believe in it.
Yeah.
But yeah, just get rid of it, and then just release it on both.
Hmm.
So yeah, I like I said, I want to get a Series S because I want to try it out. I want to see
Hmm.
how it compares to the Series X
Yeah.
and kind of. But yeah, I think that also that developers though, I think developers are trying to develop too much for these
Yeah.
games.
Hmm.
And so for an example of that is there's this guy I follow on YouTube, and he
Hmm.
always criticizes how the last couple Xbox games have only been 30 frames per second.
Yeah.
Redfall launched at 30 frames per second.
Hmm.
Starfield is 30 frames per second,
Hmm.
and how it's actually technically more power. Like the Xbox is more powerful than the PS5, but it's
Hmm.
not playing these new games at 60 frames per second, whereas PlayStation games are running at 60 frames per second.
Hmm.
That's not entirely true. So I bought Final Fantasy 16 on the PS5 and Star Wars Jedi Survivor on the PS5. These are next gen games. They're not on the PS4. And when I put them on performance mode, they're not reaching 60 frames per second. Final
Hmm.
Fantasy 16 will get to like 45 frames.
Yeah.
Jedi Survivor 40 frames, and it
Yeah.
just looks bad. So you have no
Yeah.
choice but to lock it at 30 frames just to get a smoother experience.
Right.
So the fact that like Xbox, I I give Xbox more props for saying, "Hey, we rather you have a smooth experience and we're gonna
Mm.
lock it at 30 rather than let you play it at 60 and have the frame rate just drop all over the place." Like
Yeah.
the Final Fantasy and Jedi Survivor was so bad to play through. I finished them, but
Yeah.
man, it was just like really Jedi Survivor was the worst. Like it
Yeah.
was, I have it set to 60. That thing was hitting like 35, 40 frames, and it was just really bad. So I just
Yeah.
like, and that's not the companies, that's not PlayStation or Xbox's fault. That's
Mhm.
the developers' fault,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
these developers now, everything has to be so big and so huge. It's like, scale back your game. Your game doesn't need to be 28 hours long. Scale back to like 10 hours. Give us a smooth frame rate, good gameplay. Final
Mhm.
Fantasy 16 is trash. Don't play it, by the way. It's one of the worst Final Fantasy games I ever played, man. It was horrendous, man.
So
Horrendous.
it, you're exactly right. The games have become too long. They're trying to do too much. And I would love for it to go back to a time where it was a good 10 hours
Yeah.
long, but they don't want they like that money.
But here's the thing though. A lot of the fans are programmed now to want 15, 20-hour games. Have you
Yeah.
heard of a game called Callisto Protocol?
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
came out last December or something. It was
Mhm.
like from the people that brought Dead Space. So
Yeah.
when this game came out, it got ran through the mud. Like people were like, oh, this game is trash. This game is garbage. It's only like 8 hours long.
Yeah.
My brother bought it day one for $60, and he's like, yeah, man, this game is trash. 2 weeks ago, I was at Best Buy. They had it
Yeah.
for $15. So
Yeah.
I picked it up. Man, that game is awesome.
Yeah.
That game, the graphics are phenomenal. The
Mhm.
story is good. The gameplay, it feels like a PS2 game
Yeah.
on a PS5. Like it has the gameplay of a PS2 game where it's all action based, but it
Mhm.
looks like a PS5 game.
Okay.
And it's only 8 to 10 hours long. And I'm like, this is what we need. We need more games like this.
Yeah.
Like the reason why people bombed it is because they paid $60 for a 10-hour game.
Right.
The, it's not about the quality, it's about the quantity. They want the most hours. And I don't think that's the right way to look at things, you
Yeah.
know?
No, with it being $60, I for a 10-hour game, dude, I would want that bumped down to what the what the PS2 games were selling at. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I
Yeah.
That price seems a little steep
Yeah.
for a 8-hour, 10-hour game. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. Yeah.
I would definitely go back to the drawing board with all that. I want shorter games. I want obviously the graphics of it now, so that's going to bump the price up. But
Yep.
like when Miles Morales came out, absolutely love that game, and I think they
I
priced it
I
perfect.
love it. Love it.
You know what I mean? So maybe take that kind of approach to it going forward. But you're absolutely right; they're way too
Yeah.
long now.
I To be honest with you, I really don't buy any new release games anymore. I wait for
Mhm.
them to go down. I remember
Yeah,
when Callisto Protocol came out, and
yeah,
I was really interested in it because I like Dead Space. But
yeah,
I was like, man, dude, I'll wait a little bit to get this. It ain't something I need. And then
yeah,
look, like a few months later, I got it for $15, and it was like, oh man, this is freaking great. You have a funner experience when you go in with low expectations and don't have no money, and you spend like $15 for it.
yeah,
Same thing with Mortal Kombat. I'm
yeah.
interested in it. I'm not
Mhm.
paying $70 for Mortal Kombat. It's you're redoing the same thing again. You're rebooting the game again.
Yeah,
You just did this 2 games ago with Mortal Kombat 9. I'm very
yeah,
interested in it.
yeah,
I always love the story modes for Mortal Kombat,
yeah.
but
Me too.
I bought Street Fighter 5 day one for $60. I played it
Yeah.
for a week and that's it. Once I finish the story, I'm done. So I'm not gonna pay $70 for Mortal Kombat, play through the story, and done. I'm like, I'll wait for
Mhm.
that thing to hit $20. Then they have that whole DLC pack included, and like,
Yeah,
boom, just get that.
yeah. Man, I'm not a fan of, especially with Tekken 7 when that came out. Shoot, man, I want to say it was like 8 years ago,
Mhm.
and they're finally now making a Tekken 8.
Yeah,
That was the first time I had ever heard of DLCs, and I was like, dude, why not just make a Tekken 8?
yeah,
I
yeah,
never got it. I never understood it. It's like I bought a couple DLCs for Spider-Man, but what they could have done is just made it a side quest. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Instead of making you pay for
Oh, they
extra
don't do that
content.
anymore, man. They
Yeah,
don't do that anymore.
it's absolutely silly, dude. I it keeps, developers, or, it's just another reason for you to pay money when they could just make those DLCs side quests, or make
Yeah.
the players that they add, unlockable players, play through it, and you can earn that player instead of having to pay for it. But I mean, for the ones who want to get it faster, you can pay for it, but at least have the option to earn it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Like when Fighter
No,
Z came out, huh?
that yeah, Fighter Z, yeah.
Mhm.
But see, that's the thing, man. That's back in the PS2 era. They don't do that shit no more, though.
Oh, the Dragon Ball Fighter Z, the one
Yeah,
that came out for the, I want to say it was the PS4. It was a
PS4
while
and
ago.
Xbox One. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, a good game. I think that campaign, the campaign mode was trash though.
Oh, I thought it
But
was fun.
I
I
it was just so freaking, I'm a huge Dragon Ball Z fan, and I was just like, this just doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
Fighter Z is the only game I bought DLC for.
Yeah.
I own Fighters on PS4,
Hmm.
Xbox One, and
Hmm.
Nintendo Switch, and I
Yeah.
bought the season passes for all three consoles.
Right on.
I love that game. Like it's
Yeah.
to me it's my favorite Dragon Ball Z game.
Yeah.
Like
I mean,
because the fighting is so good in that game.
yeah, so good, and it looks freaking fantastic, and the finishes are amazing,
Yeah,
everything about it. But my thing is, I had a buddy that was playing it with me, and we get on the sticks but
yeah,
I just don't play it by myself.
yeah,
It's not a Tekken 7 for me. I
yeah,
can
yeah,
play
yeah,
Tekken 7 all day by
yeah.
myself, and then with Tekken 8 coming out, I can't wait because the graphics look amazing,
I'm
dude.
a massive Tekken fan.
It's freaking nuts, dude. See how far they've come. I remember playing it in an arcade when I was young and seeing where it is now. Absolutely nuts.
The first game
Absolutely
I
nuts.
ever owned was Tekken 1 for PlayStation. I remember my dad bought me a PlayStation for Christmas, and
Yeah.
he bought me Tekken 1
Hmm.
and Top Gun. I didn't care about Top Gun, but I played the shit out of Tekken. And
Yeah.
he didn't buy me a memory card because memory cards were new to consoles. We never had that before. So I
Yeah.
would play through the game with all the characters, unlock all the characters, and then when I shut my console off, I would have to redo it every time. But
That's
like
brutal.
yeah. But yeah,
Dang.
we don't get those days anymore. Like
Mm-mm.
everybody's excited for Dragon Ball Z Tenkaichi 4,
Hmm.
but the reason why they're excited was because Tenkaichi 3 had 100 and something characters.
Yeah.
You're not gonna have that in the new one because it's all gonna be DLC that you're gonna have to pay for.
Yeah. Yeah. And unless you feel like paying that money, it's just you're not gonna. Yeah, man. I think DLC is just an excuse for more money. They already have
It
those
really
characters.
is.
They just don't want you to. They don't
Yeah,
want you to
yeah,
be able to
they
earn
already
them.
had the characters, like, for
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat 1,
Yeah.
right? They had the DLC character trailers out, like Omni-Man, Homelander, they had all those
Yeah.
trailers out, which means they're already made for the game, they're
Yeah.
already in the game, it's just locked behind a paywall,
Yeah.
you know? Where if you go back to, like, Mortal Kombat 2, Mortal Kombat 3, you
Mhm.
do certain things, you unlock those characters.
Yeah.
My biggest problem with video games today is there's
Mhm.
no replay value in any game, at
Right.
least for me. Right.
Yeah.
As a kid, I would Metal Gear Solid 1 on a PlayStation.
Mhm.
Um, I remember one weekend, I was like 13. One weekend, I played through the game like 4 times because if you
Holy.
beat the game once, you get the bandana. Then you
Yeah.
beat it again, you get the stealth pack. So then
Yeah.
you got the bandana and stealth pack.
Mhm.
Then you beat it again, you get Snake in a tuxedo. So it was just cool. It gives you replay value.
Yeah.
A lot of games. To me, there's only been 2 games in this generation that I played more than once,
Mm.
and that was Miles Morales. I
Mhm.
beat the game 3 times.
Yeah.
Why? Because it's only like 8 hours long. It's super short.
Yeah.
So it makes me, if I want to like experience, I know I can get through this game in like 2 days.
Yeah.
And the other one's also a PlayStation exclusive, and that's Kenna Bridge of Spirits on the PS5.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a nice little Pixar platformer, great story. And again, that's like 8 or 10 hours long.
Yeah.
So when I look at something like Spider-Man,
Mhm.
the first one,
Mhm.
which is like 20 hours long, and Miles Morales, I'm like, I'm gonna go with Miles Morales because this
Yeah.
thing, one, I think his powers are better. I
Yeah.
like the story so much better,
Mhm.
and it's short and sweet, and you can constantly just new game plus it and just get stronger and stronger.
Yeah.
Whereas Spider-Man, you're like doing Doc Ock's puzzles and doing Black Cat's shadows and all. It's just I don't like those 20-hour games. Just
Yeah.
like God of War, right?
Mhm.
Got like the walking talking daddy simulator. I'd rather play God of War 1 and 2, which are like 10 hours long. Kratos just massacring everybody
Mhm.
rather than playing a 30-hour Kratos talking to his son saying, "Boy, get over here" 500 times. You know, but that's where it comes with the pricing of the game.
Yeah.
Developers feel like you have to get prices, more for your money.
Mhm.
So I just don't like that mentality.
Yeah.
I, Resident Evil 3 remake that came out a couple
Mhm.
years ago.
Yeah.
I bought it on PlayStation 4. A
Mhm.
lot of people complain because the game, you can, if you know what you're doing, you can beat that game in 2 hours.
Yeah.
Like my roommate beat it in an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Right. My first playthrough, I think I beat it in 6 hours. But
Mhm.
guess what? I played that game like 4 times
Mhm.
because it constantly got that replay value.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about Callisto Protocol right now. It's super short. It has that replay value.
Mhm.
I would play that over Jedi Survivor, which was like 20 hours long. I
Yeah.
don't know. I'm also an old fart. I don't like my games being too long. I don't have much time. You
Well,
have
yeah.
kids. You should know that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why, like, sneaking up here to, play, even do side quests for God of War is taking up a lot of time, away from the family. So,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, no, man, I'm right there with you. Because if I play a game like God of War, it's going to be at night when everybody's sleeping. You know what I mean? Because
yeah,
it just takes so long to get through. It was really freaking good. I but like you said, the dad simulator, and
yeah.
that's one of
Dad.
the reasons why I kind of love the game because it was nice seeing that side of Kratos, him becoming a softer,
Yeah,
more wise, being able to tell his son, don't fall into this hole because I've been there. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
So yeah, that was a cool one for me.
The
But yeah, no,
game,
I
the
get it.
God of War has its moments. I remember
Mhm.
when they updated it and they had the free PlayStation 5 pass, which put it at
Mhm.
60 frames per second. I was
Yeah,
playing it and I'm like, dude, this is like legit. Like
yeah,
some of the cinematic stuff, like it's legit. But I played it for like 4 days and I got like 15 hours in the game. I'm like, all right, I feel like this is being really repetitive now. I'm like 15 hours in. So I looked up a walkthrough to see how far I had left, and I was
Mhm.
only at the halfway point. I stopped playing at that point. I stopped playing. It's like sometimes short and sweet is good.
Mhm.
You don't want to take something and just stretch it out. Like
Yeah,
I'm starting to feel that way with movies too. I want to go to a
yeah,
movie and watch a nice, hour and 45 minutes, 2 hour movie. And then when you tell me, like, for example, I don't know if you're a big superhero fan, but the
mhm,
Snyder Cut, right? I
yeah,
think Zack Snyder's Snyder Cut is a fantastic movie,
yeah,
but I'm not watching a 4 hour movie every time I
yeah,
want to watch it. You know, it's
yeah,
like that's the way I feel. It's like, I don't want to sit there and spend so much time playing this one game.
yeah.
Just
And
shorten it down.
as the movie front, those 4 hours, those 3 4 hour movies used to be reserved for like movies made for festivals. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
The fruity, highbrow
the
movies.
Oscar type movies. Yeah,
Right. They were usually made for
yeah,
festivals.
like
And
The
now,
Godfather and stuff.
right, now they're bringing it, making it superhero movies,
Yeah,
3 4 hours long. I like a
yeah.
90-minute stay
I
in the pocket, good movie, dude.
Dude,
That's
I
where
was
I'm
gonna
at.
go see. So I was gonna go see Gran Turismo because I
Mhm.
really like the trailer. I'm not a Gran
Yeah.
Turismo fan,
Mhm.
but it's a video game movie. I want to support it,
Right.
and I was like, oh, the trailers look really good. So I was gonna go see it. And I seen it was 2.5 hours long. I was like, hell no! I will wait for that thing to come out on VOD where I
Yeah.
can pause it and watch it at home. You
Yeah.
know, and yeah, that's why I feel like that, but about a lot of things, man.
Yeah.
I
And
really
speaking
do.
of the video game adaptations, freaking PlayStation's got like 10 in the pocket right now. Like
Yeah,
one that they're working, well, two, well, three
I
that
know
they're
one
working
for
on.
sure.
Yeah, God of
God of
War.
War.
Yeah,
Yeah.
God of War, Horizon Zero Dawn, and there's rumors that they're working on a Jack and Daxter movie.
They don't
And
even
then
make Jack and Dexter games. Make a
and
game.
and that's why I got so upset about it. It's like you think this property is good enough to make into a movie.
Yeah.
Freaking remaster it, At least do that.
Yeah, dude.
At least do that.
So me, my brother, and my friend Lee, like we used to be massive PlayStation fans,
Mhm,
and like we all jumped over to Xbox. I mean, we still play PlayStation depending on what game comes out,
mhm.
but like where's all these original games that PlayStation used to have? Resistance,
Yeah.
Killzone, Jack
Mhm,
and Daxter. Like
mhm.
none of them. They just keep releasing the same damn game. Like Last of Us got remastered 3, 4 times.
Yeah.
Um, you know, oh, we got a super chat coming in.
Oh, right
Uh
on.
just come from Matt 1306. Thank you, sir. Throwing in $5 super chat. Problem with Final Fantasy 16 isn't just that it's a
Mm,
PS5 exclusive, but the story was meh, making the M-rated game, cutting the fan base, the characters rolling. There's a lot wrong
mhm.
with Final Fantasy 16. I
Yeah.
agree, it's not just because it's a PlayStation 5 exclusive, but
Mhm.
that doesn't help either
Right.
because you got to realize like there's only like it's about your like if you're making a game, how can I explain this?
Mm.
You want to be able to reach like if Nintendo made a game, they sold like 150 million Switches. So that's
Yeah.
150 potential users. If
Right.
you only sold 40 million PlayStation units, that's only
Mhm.
40 million possible people that are going to play. And
Right.
no lie, most people that own a PS5, all they play is Call of Duty, Fortnite, and Madden. That's it. Like a majority of people,
Yeah.
So that's more people that's not playing Final Fantasy, right?
Mhm.
It should have been multi-platformed. For
Yeah.
I don't care. Square Enix made that bed they can lay in it,
Yeah.
but it should have been multi-platform. It should have been on PC. The
Mhm.
M rating did not help either, because like you said, you had to be 16 or older to buy the game.
Mhm.
And no, I think the story was good. I think the story was real good. The
Mhm.
characters sucked. The
Yeah.
characters were boring. Like,
Mhm.
like I'm not gonna lie, I have a tendency of crying at the end of Final Fantasies, right?
Mhm.
Final Fantasy Crisis Core, I cry like a little girl. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie. At the end of Final Fantasy 16, it's a real sad moment. I did not care because I hated the characters. Like the dude, all he did was mumble. He was like,
Mhm.
"Yeah, we gotta go do this, and we gotta do." Like it was so dreadful. That's why I didn't like that game. But yeah, being a PS5 exclusive did hurt it. It
Yeah.
did. And Square. The only thing is, Square got a bag from PlayStation, so
Mhm.
they're not hurting. Another thing, look at Forspoken.
Yeah.
Forspoken was a new property from Square Enix. My
Mhm.
brother played it. He actually said it was good. He's like, I don't know why people are hating it. Like he actually said, like I have it down there. I had it for months. I
Yeah.
bought it when it was on sale for like 25 bucks. I haven't even opened it. But yeah, Forspoken is another game. You're talking
Mhm.
about a new property. It should have been multi-platform. You want to
Mhm.
reach because let's say if PlayStation has 40 million consumers and Xbox has 30 million consumers, you
Mhm.
now have 70 million consumers. So
Yeah.
that opens up it opens up how many people are going to buy your game.
Mhm.
And a lot of people don't like those type of games. Not a lot of
Right.
people like RPGs. So you're already
Mhm.
limiting it. It's not like
Yeah.
Call of Duty.
And just to kind of touch on the exclusivity thing. Now, during the FTC and Microsoft court battle, I
Mhm.
can't remember what his name was. Golly, man! But he did say that the reason for exclusives, I mean, besides the money, but the reason for them is they're way easier for developers to optimize for that
Yeah.
one
If
single
they're yeah.
console,
Yeah.
right? So I, do I think you should still make exclusives? Absolutely not. That's to me, that's not a reason to to make exclusives, but it does help optimize the game for that one specific
Mm.
console. So I can understand, especially on Xboxes, on Xbox front, because they're in a position where they're in third. I don't mind them, making exclusives to get people to buy more consoles for them. It's eh, they're it's the underdog story for them, which is the funniest thing since they have like a $2 trillion
Yeah. They're a bigger
their
company, but they're
yeah,
losing in the gaming world.
right, exactly. But so I for PlayStation, I frown upon that way more than I do Xbox because they're in a position where, it doesn't put them ahead of the market. It helps them out. You know what I mean? I know
Yeah.
it's the kind of weird way of thinking that. I'll, probably sit and think about that a lot more. But
Yeah.
just off the top of my head, I don't have as much of a problem with Xbox exclusives than I do PlayStation exclusives. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I
Especially with them coming out with that one device that you can connect it to your TV and just play. Heck no.
yeah.
Make all the exclusives you want.
I
You know?
see me personally, I like exclusives. I
Mhm.
think exclusives is important because if you can play Mario on a PlayStation, why the hell would you buy a Switch?
Yeah.
You know, if you can play Halo on a PlayStation, why the hell would you buy an Xbox?
Mhm.
Right? Like you want to be able, for example, if they had God of War on Xbox, I would never buy another PlayStation again if I can get those games on Xbox.
Yeah.
Right? You know, I think exclusives are important. The
Mhm.
thing I frown upon and I dislike is making third-party games exclusive.
Mhm.
Final Fantasy and Square Enix does not work for Sony.
Yeah.
That
That's a
is a
great point.
third-party company.
Yeah.
Why is it exclusive to that? Just because
Mhm.
Sony came in with a bag. If you want to start spending money, I'm pretty sure Xbox can outspend Sony
Oh,
like
yeah.
all every day. But
Oh,
they
yeah.
don't they you shouldn't have to pay for exclusive. That was
Yeah.
another thing that was brought up in the FTC when
Mhm.
you know, when Phil Spencer was on stand and said, well, Final Fantasy 16 came out today and it's a PlayStation exclusive. And the judge said, is Final Fantasy a big franchise? He's like, it's the biggest JRPG franchise in the world.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so it that's you know, the FTC, man, they shot themselves.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
They
but I
had
think it's
no leg to
yeah,
stand on.
they didn't because they were trying to protect the market leader. Like
Yeah.
that's not helping consumer, you
Mm-mm.
know. But I think exclusives are important. I want to
Mhm.
keep, you know, Kratos on PlayStation and Master Chief on Xbox. I think that's
Mhm.
important, but I think these third-party games need to stay third party.
Yeah.
Forspoken should have been on a multi-platform.
Mhm.
Final Fantasy 16 should have been multi-platform. You
Yeah.
know, it's just the way it should have been. And
Mhm.
I just don't like how people are complaining. Well, Starfield is on just Xbox. Like, damn right, because
Yeah.
PlayStation was going to buy another third-party game.
Yeah.
You know, people come out and they say, "Well, PlayStation has more games, right?"
Mhm.
Do you guys realize that Xbox released more exclusives this year than PlayStation has? First party exclusives. They
Mhm.
released Hi-Fi Rush,
Mhm.
Redfall, regardless if it's good or not, and Starfield. Right
Yeah.
now, the only first party game that PlayStation released, Spider Man.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
that's gonna be yeah, later
and
this
and, and even though
next
that's
month.
a first party game, it's a licensed character, so it's not even their character. You
Yeah.
know, it's you know they just licensed it from Disney. You
Mhm.
know, and I had some idiot go, "No, Sony owns the rights to it." No, Sony owns the film rights to Spider-Man. They do not
Yeah.
own the cartoon or
Right.
video game or toy rights. But yeah, I think I want to see old Sony come back. That's
Me
what I
too.
want to see. I
Yeah.
want to see, like, give me so like I wanted Microsoft to win the FTC case
Mhm.
because I want to see Sony have to fight. I don't know if you're a wrestling fan or used to follow wrestling at all.
I used to.
When Vince McMahon bought WCW,
Mhm.
that was the end of wrestling
Yeah.
because he had no competition. He was able to do whatever he wanted. But
Yeah.
back when you had WCW versus WWE,
Mhm.
both products were good because they were trying to outdo each other.
Yeah.
With PlayStation being the market leader, they can do whatever they want, like releasing a Portal for $200 or a $500 VR
VR.
or
Yeah.
increase PlayStation Plus, and they're the market leader. You have to do it, you
Mhm.
know. But you know, I want to see him get back to making Killzone,
Mhm.
Resistance, Jack and Daxter. You know, hell, another Uncharted would be great. But
Yeah.
they keep releasing Horizon, God of War,
Yeah.
Last of Us, and that's their games.
Yeah.
You know, like there's a
Shoot.
rumor that they're remastering Horizon Zero Dawn. Why? Why? The game just came out like 5 years ago, and there's a PS5 patch for it.
Yeah. Yeah. And one shoot, man, what's the name of it? Soul Reaver. I wanna
Yes.
see that one come back, dude. Oh my
Well,
gosh.
if I'm not mistaken, if the Activision deal goes through, I think Xbox has the rights to that now.
Oh boy. That's
Yeah, I can't remember if Xbox will have the rights to it or if Embracer Group does. I want to say Xbox
mm,
because they put out like a survey of what some of the Activision games you want to see come back. And I
mhm.
know Soul Reaver Legacy of Kain was like on top there. So
Right on.
yeah, I
Okay.
want to see it come back too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Oh, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you
oh,
off.
well, there's just no telling, like, especially with all the games. I know Spyro, Crash Bandicoot, those are all going to be Xbox own,
Yeah.
titles now. I had no idea that Soul Reaver was even in there.
Yeah, yeah. I'm pretty sure it was either that or Embracer Group. I'm pretty sure someone said it was Activision, and they're trying to
Mhm.
get Crystal Dynamics to bring Tomb Raider to Xbox. Like it's crazy. How the
Mm.
hell? the- and like many years later, the
Yep.
mascot for PlayStation, Crash Bandicoot, is owned by Xbox, and the mascot for Halo is owned by PlayStation with Bungie. It's crazy how things flip flop,
It
but
is, man. I never thought
yeah,
I'd see the day, dude. Honestly.
yeah, I know. Oh, and another thing that's gonna hurt PlayStation, I think, in the long run,
Mm,
if you watch that last PlayStation showcase, almost all
mm.
their games are live service games.
Yeah, that too.
That's not
But
good either.
but a lot of their games are gonna be on Xbox too. During the PlayStation showcase, that's where a lot of Xbox fans were like,
Well,
it's like, "Yeah, it's gonna
yeah, yeah, I see that because they trolled him afterwards and like just to let you know that all these games that are on the PlayStation Showcase are coming to
yeah."
Xbox too.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
they
was
put it on Xbox, put it on
yeah,
Twitter with all the freaking, games that the PlayStation showcase they're gonna be
yeah,
on Xbox. That was dope. That was a good troll, Xbox.
yeah,
I
yeah,
gotta tip my hat to you on that one. That was nice.
yeah. But at the end of the day, I don't like fanboys at
Mm,
all. I think it's not healthy.
mhm.
I don't think fanboys are video game fans. If you're a fan of video games, you go where the video games are. You don't go where the company is. Uh,
100%, I'll give you that one.
There was a
Yeah.
group of PlayStation fans trying to fire Alana Pierce
Yeah, I saw
for
that.
playing Starfield and talking about Starfield on her channel because she works for Santa Monica. You
Yep.
know, it's like this girl's been in the industry for over 10 years. She's been everywhere from IGN to Machinima and everything. It's
Yeah.
like, no,
Yeah.
no,
I think that's absolutely silly, dude. Just like she should be able to play whatever game she wants
yeah.
and stream whatever game she wants, not unless they have like an NDA type kind of contract or something
Yeah,
like that, which
if
that would be
she signed
silly.
a
And
policy,
yeah,
like if I go to work for Walmart and I can't be promoting Target,
right,
but she writes for Santa Monica. There's nothing saying that she can't play Starfield,
right.
and
Yeah.
she's a massive Bethesda fan. She played Fallout, Skyrim,
Hmm.
all those. So,
Hmm.
um,
Yeah, shout
yeah,
out to her, man. It's like, and like I watched that video and she was like, I never see this stuff. It was like only people come to me and tell me this stuff is going on. I never
yeah,
see it. I was like, keep that up
yeah,
because it makes your mindset and your mental health so much better. She's really got a great way of like looking at stuff. I love her outlook on stuff,
yeah.
and she's freaking like really great at speaking. And not
Oh,
to mention
she's
the accent is freaking nuts too. you
Yeah.
know?
I like Alana Pierce. I've been following her for years, man.
Yeah.
I keep following her. Like I've been watching her Starfield stuff, and
Hmm.
yeah, I definitely like her. And anyone who's trying to get her fired, I think they're just stupid, man. They're not
Yeah.
like people review bombing Starfield. It's like
Yeah.
you guys aren't game fans, man.
No. Uh-uh. I
You
don't think
know?
so either. It's like uh, another Xbox exclusive came out. Okay. So
Yeah,
what? Hey,
yeah.
sorry if you hear some of that going on in the background. My wife is got a couple more kids that she's
Mhm.
watching for people, so sorry about that.
I don't hear anything, so you're
Oh,
good.
good.
Yeah, I don't hear anything.
Awesome.
So I we hit the hour mark. Anything else you want to hit on? Mortal Kombat you want to talk about?
Just a couple more things real quick. So I'll try to do a rapid fire round. Rotten
Oh,
Tomatoes.
you don't have to rapid fire, but yeah, Rotten Tomatoes. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah,
the PR firm Bunker 15 came out, were exposed for paying people in as low as $50 for them
yeah.
to give a positive review on a
No,
movie.
not a positive review.
Not
To
a
give a
positive.
review, no. There was some false information going on. I did some
Okay.
research on this last night.
Right on, right
Um,
on.
they reached out and paid $50 to 8 people and
Mhm.
said, "Hey, can you review this movie?" They
Oh,
said you
okay.
could. They said that the thing was because it's a low budget movie. They just wanted exposure, so
Yeah.
they paid them just to review it. They're like, "Look, you can give your honest review. We're not paying for a positive or negative. Just be honest. We just want you
Mm,
to review it." Which
okay.
that does break laws and rules. You're not supposed to do that. But
Right.
it's no different than someone sending people video games and say, "Hey, we're sending you this game if you can review it." You know what I
Yeah.
mean? The problem is that Rotten Tomatoes has a rule that you can't pay someone to review something for you.
Yeah.
So that's where the thing happens. A lot of people are making a bigger deal out of it
Mhm.
than it initially was
Yeah.
because everybody thought, oh, they paid for positive reviews. And
Yeah.
that's where because I just seen my friend, he just uploaded a video right before we started streaming, so I
Mhm.
haven't watched it, But yeah, it was a misconception that it was for positive reviews. That turned
Mhm.
out to be not the case, and it
Okay.
was only 8 people out of like 300 and something thousand.
Right
So
on.
it was only like a 0.2% of
Yeah.
the people. Yeah,
So the issue I'm having is like you don't watch Mauler at all, do you?
no,
Well, okay. So he made a great point, right? If someone came to him and paid him money to review something, you you hold kind of a, whether subconscious or in the back of your mind, you're going to want to review it positively because they're
yeah,
paying you money to do it. I
yeah,
mean, that's one side of it. And
yeah,
two, it's like a company paying you money to review it. I feel like their kind of expectations is that you give it a positive review. You know what I
yeah,
mean? So to me, like you said, it might have not as been overblown as it was. It might have been overblown, but it's still kind of slimy, still feels dirty, and
mhm,
then not to mention, you know, this is just one time that it's been exposed.
yeah,
How many other times that we don't even know about, and I don't put Rotten Tomatoes on the chopping block for that. It's not like it's their PR team that did it.
yeah,
It
yeah,
was, someone for the movie. So Rotten Tomatoes, as far as I'm concerned, have no fault in this. But what this discredits, video game, video games where you can leave critic reviews for a video game, discounts that because somebody might be paying for a positive review or just a,
yeah,
a review of a game or whatever. Um so to me, it kind of has far reaching, it touches kind of everything. So it's hard for me to take any of these other ones seriously. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
that's just me. But that's a good point. I didn't know about that. Thank you for
yeah.
bringing that up.
But
And then hmm,
oh, I'm sorry.
no, go
It's
for it.
just I think whenever you reviews and stuff is, I think there's always some skepticism you need to have when it comes to review stuff, right?
Hmm.
Because like I said, there's like 300 something thousand people certified for Rotten Tomatoes, right?
Yeah.
Just because a company came to these people and said, here's $50, just review the movie, say what you want, good or bad,
Mhm.
we just want exposure. I'm pretty sure, like there's a lot of shady stuff going on
Mhm.
around the world. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure there's a few critics in certain studios' pockets that
Yeah.
say, because you if you go look at some of these reviews for some
Mhm.
of these movies, they have some of the dumbest reasons why they like or dislike the movie,
Yeah.
right? And there's no proof of it, but
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure there's people on the payroll of certain studios,
Right.
right? They're like, oh, we know this guy, we send him son, there might not be a paper trail,
Yeah.
but maybe they have good working relationship, they go out to lunch or something like that. Like
Mhm.
it's impossible to stop all that. Just like I
Right.
think it's impossible in like the NBA or the NFL that there isn't some kind of gambling
Mhm.
or some kind of payroll, like, hey, I'll pay you this much if you drop this pass or something. There's no
Yeah.
way, there's no security to prevent that from happening. So
Mhm.
there's always a chance that that could happen.
Yeah.
Now that this has been exposed, it kind of opens up the floodgates of people really thinking, okay, well, if that happened, what else happened? You
Exactly.
know?
Like putting a
So
magnifying glass on it
yeah.
now. Yeah.
But this
Yep.
has always been the case in the video game world,
Mhm.
not paid with cash,
Mhm.
but you get like I got people sending me when I was doing my Steam Deck reviews, people were
Mhm.
sending me their docks, their all kinds of accessories. I
Oh,
checked
man.
my email yesterday. I had two companies send me video game codes for me to redeem and
Yeah.
review.
That's
And
dope. Yeah.
yeah, so they sent it because they want me to hopefully give a
Yeah.
positive review. It's not paid with cash, but you get
Right.
paid in other ways.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
And along those lines, you get welcome to, you know, the uh the parties, that they have, the red carpets and things like
Yep.
that. So, if you give a negative review, they're not going to welcome to the next freaking red carpet event or,
Yep.
film festival or something like that. So the incentives for you to give a positive review are there. It's put a magnifying glass on this specific one, and it reaches out to all these other, IMDb's and things like that, where you can give a critic score. How, genuine are they? Are they getting paid behind the scenes? It just opens all that up. And,
Yeah.
people really don't take them that seriously anyway. Like Rotten Tomatoes, like I've I just looked it up. It's Edge of Tomorrow. I think it's a 8 out of 10 movie.
Mhm.
Rotten Tomatoes might have it at their critic score might have it at like a 7 or a 6.5 or something like that. So that's not going to stop me from loving a movie or going to see a movie.
Yeah,
It's just like we kind of knew this kind of thing was happening. It just kind of confirms it for everybody.
yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean? But
yeah.
um new movies that are coming out, like they're working on it. There whispers about it. You got I Am Legend 2, right? That's supposedly coming out.
Uh,
They're supposedly working on Constantine, a sequel to that.
that got canceled.
Oh, did it?
Yep.
I've seen that there was kind of which it's been kind of been going back and forth, right? Keanu Reeves has come out and spoken a little bit about it. The director has come out and said a little bit about it. So it's been confirmed that it's canceled.
Yeah, yeah. James Gunn
Okay.
canceled it because
Okay.
they're going on with the DCU reboot.
Right
So
on.
there was actually a news article yesterday that a
Okay.
lot of the stuff that was going on in WB has all been suspended
Okay.
because of the strike.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
all JJ Abrams stuff that he was doing got suspended and everything. But
Yeah.
Constantine was confirmed to be canceled, I think, like a month or so ago.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah,
And then there's a at least a script written up for Edge of Tomorrow 2, a sequel to that one.
yeah, but that's been in the works for like 6 years now.
Well, with I saw an interview from Emily Blunt that they're waiting for Tom Cruise to jump on board, but he's
Yeah,
kind of connected to the Mission Impossible
Mission
movies. He's going
Impossible.
to be
Yeah.
So I have comments on on especially the I Am Legend 2 and Edge of Tomorrow 2. I would love to see a sequel to Constantine, dude. It was awesome, and it left itself open to a sequel. You know what I
Mhm,
mean?
mhm.
Edge of Tomorrow didn't. I Am Legend
No,
didn't.
no.
So and they're
Legend
talking
Morrow definitely didn't.
right.
Or Legend, I Am Legend, I mean. I Am
Yeah,
Legend definitely did not need a sequel
yeah.
to that one.
And so what's really messed up is they want Will Smith to come back. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Will Smith is said to be coming back alongside Michael B. Jordan. Michael B. Jordan, that would be a welcome addition to a sequel
yeah,
to I Am Legend.
yeah.
But what I would love to see is the woman and the boy, like, yeah, they delivered,
When they get to that outpost at the end.
right? Because
Yeah.
that can't be the end, dude.
No, no.
Like, but it does need a sequel, but not with Will Smith in it, and they're hell bent on having him in there. I don't know
So,
why.
with the movie, well, I know why, but it's a dumb
Mhm.
reason. They need it because they need star power for marketing.
Right, right.
Because if you market I Am Legend without Will Smith, the people that seen the first one be like, well, Will Smith's not in it, I'm not gonna go see it. Look at Independence Day if you need any proof, people. You know?
Yeah.
But a sequel to I Am Legend, why is the movie called I Am Legend? Will Smith is the legend. He's the one
Mhm,
that came up with the cure and he
mhm,
sent it to the lady and boy to bring to the outpost at the end. That's why
mhm.
it's called I Am Legend, because it's the legend of him
Yeah.
in this city trying to figure out this cure to stuff. But he
Mhm.
clearly died at the end of the movie. Like there's a bunch of little Will Smith pieces all over the city, you know? Um, but yeah, right. Like I feel like they could do a sequel, but
Mhm,
not call it I Am Legend. Call it something completely different. Michael B. Jordan, you put him in there
mhm.
and just make a sequel,
Yeah.
and Michael B. Jordan can be the next draw. Michael B. Jordan brings in a lot of people to theaters, especially with the Creed franchise, you
Yeah.
know. So yeah, I don't get the I Am Legend thing at all.
Right on.
Uh
Yeah.
Edge of Tomorrow, I love that movie. You
Yeah.
can see where there can be a sequel to that. Right? There can like there's gotta be other aliens that can come and invade and stuff like that. The problem with that is if you do that
Mhm.
and it's not done well,
Yeah.
then you get an Independence Day 2 problem. Independence Day, that's the perfect example for a lot of things.
Yeah.
That movie wrapped up perfectly. There's no
Yeah.
reason to have Independence Day 2 at
Mhm.
all. And they
Yeah.
brought it back and it was just it was disappointing. And that was me being nice about it. So
And they're talking about a Toy Story 5 too.
they should have stopped after 3.
Dude, I'm telling you. Now, okay, I don't have mixed feelings about it. I like Toy Story 4. I thought it was okay,
Yeah.
but it's as far as I'm concerned, there's only a trilogy. There's not a Toy Story 4 or 5, whatever. The trilogy, it's the trilogy. W- and I think this is kind of a Disney's kind of desperation, WB's too, because they're running out of money too with as many flops they had this year.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So
yeah,
everybody's kind of scrambling. They're worried. So, pick up a popular IP. Let's make a sequel to that or add on to the story on that. That should get people in the theaters. Everybody's going through their death throes right now. It seems like.
yeah,
But I it I as far as the sequels to those couple of movies, I'm really not interested. I don't know who would be. So give me a Constantine 2 sequel, I will watch that. With
yeah,
Keanu Reeves. Heck yeah. Especially after coming off the John Wick movies. Oh yeah,
yeah,
give me a
yeah.
Constantine 2 sequel
Well,
or
speaking of John
Constantine
Wick,
2. Mhm.
there's talks about another John Wick movie. If you
Yeah.
saw the last John Wick movie, you're like, what the hell? Don't make another one, because the way it ends. But
Yeah.
it's one of those endings where they could do another one if they wanted to. But
Yeah.
the whole milking of the franchises,
Yeah.
to me, there's only been one franchise
Mhm.
that's been around that each sequel gets better and better, and that's Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
And then you look at something like Fast and the Furious, and each one that comes out gets worse and worse, you know? So
But they
you
make
don't
big money, so they're not gonna let that go.
not but see, they're not making as big money as they used to. Like when Fast 6, Fast 7, Fast 8, those were billion-dollar movies.
Mhm.
Now these movies are making like 6, 700 million.
Right on.
Same thing with Marvel. Marvel was banking $1 billion a movie almost. Now they're
Mhm.
now they're lucky if they hit 500 million.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
The Marvels is probably not going to be financially good for them,
Yeah.
when that comes out, because Captain Marvel made $1 billion.
Mhm.
You're introducing the Marvels, two
Mhm.
of the characters that are in the main lead spots, uh, Photon and Miss Marvel, they're
Mhm.
Disney Plus characters. So a
Yeah.
lot of people didn't even watch those shows, don't know who these characters are.
Yeah.
Um, and not to mention that phase 4 and phase 5 has been lackluster.
Yeah.
People aren't going to the theaters, and there's a lot of different factors. A lot of people are also like, hey, we'll just wait for Disney Plus and watch it on Disney Plus. We're not going to go to
Mhm.
the theater and watch it. So
Yeah.
I don't expect Miss Marvel to do very well, just like Blue Beetle didn't do well.
Yeah.
You know, it just it just people. I think COVID changed a lot of people, where a
Yeah.
lot of people are like, we can just wait for
Mhm.
the streaming service to watch it.
Oh, yeah. But, you still got, Mario and Barbie and
Yeah,
Oppenheimer that are doing well in
I,
theaters, you
I
know?
I saw two of those three movies.
Yeah. Right on, right on. Freaking so, I mean, people are willing to go back to the theaters. It's just, I think a little bit of, oversaturation as far as Disney goes with the Marvel.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
they really kicked themselves in the butt with just flooding the market with so
Well,
much Marvel
yeah,
stuff.
they flooded the market because when phase 1, 2, and 3 were out, it was
Mhm.
just the movies, and you got 3 movies a year, right? And they
Yeah.
were events. But now you
Mhm.
got like 3 or 4 movies, like 4 or 5 Disney Plus shows,
Yeah.
and the Disney Plus shows have not all been that great.
No.
And the movies that we've gotten, like people are used to Captain America, Iron Man,
Yeah.
Thor, right?
Mhm.
Now we got Shang-Chi and the Eternals, and people are like, who the hell are these characters? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, Thor, when Thor finally came out, it was a horrendous joke. Like Thor
Yeah.
4 was awful.
Awful.
Yeah, it was
Goodness.
just awful, man.
Yeah.
But if you give us characters that people like Spider-Man,
Mhm.
guess what? It made $1 billion.
Yep.
Black Panther 2 might not have made $1 billion, but it made a shitload of
Yeah.
money.
I think it
For
got
for
around 800 million, dude.
yeah, for a
Yeah.
movie that did not have the main actor return, that movie was financially successful, and it
Yes.
did very, very good.
Mhm.
But that's the same thing with Doctor Strange. You got
Mhm.
to give us characters that we know. You can't
Mhm.
just introduce all, like when Black Panther first was introduced, he was introduced in Captain America 3,
That's right.
right?
Mhm.
They Marvel got away from that formula. Like they got like PlayStation cocky. They're like, well, we can put anything together. Here's Shang-Chi. Who the fuck is he? I don't know, but here you go.
Yeah.
They should have introduced Shang-Chi in, like, I don't know, like Spider-Man or something, or like
Mhm.
not Spider-Man, because that doesn't make sense. But in
Mhm.
like something like,
Yeah.
they introduced Namor in Black Panther too. That's
Mhm.
the way to do it.
Yeah.
And they got away from that formula because they got so cocky. They're like, we can introduce anybody anytime. We're gonna make money, and
Yeah.
people are starting to like, why wasn't there a War Machine movie? Right,
It should
Rhodey
have
should
been.
have been your next Iron Man.
Dude.
Why was Falcon Winter Soldier Disney Plus show and not Captain America 4 a movie, you know?
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
doing Captain America 4 now, but that should have
Yeah.
been a movie. We did not need a 6 episode miniseries about Sam not wanting to grab the shield because he's black. Right? It's like when Steve said at the end of Endgame, when Sam was like, it doesn't feel like mine. He's like, I don't know why. It is. That's
Mhm.
all the confirmation you need. Nobody cares about that whole other crap that's going on. You should have
Yeah.
just went in with another Captain America 4 movie, done Captain America 4, War Machine. That's your new Captain America. That's your new Iron Man, not Shang-Chi and Eternals, you know?
Yeah. And I
And,
wish they wouldn't have taken the racial angle with that. It's
yeah,
like
yeah,
just with doing the movie, he doesn't have the super soldier serum. Maybe
yeah,
he doesn't feel like he's strong enough. He doesn't have the abilities. I mean, there's plenty there that he can wrestle with, him not being as
yeah.
good as Captain America. You
Yeah,
know
it,
what I
it
mean?
could. They could have done the movie and him fighting with, I can't live up to his expectations, but that's why
Right.
you have Bucky there. Bucky to be like, he gave you that shield for a reason,
Yeah.
and just kind of build that up.
Hmm.
But they do this whole Disney Plus show where you have, Quickie Mart version of Captain America,
Yeah, I
the
saw
dollar,
that.
I should call him the dollar store version, and then it was just, you had the racial undertone, and
Hmm.
that's a lot of stuff that people are getting tired of Disney because everything has to have a racial or political undertone. People
Hmm.
go to a movie for escapism. We can
Hmm.
turn on the news for all the bad stuff. We go
Yeah.
to the movies for the good stuff. And
Yeah.
I think that's another thing. But if they would have just stayed true to their characters,
Yes.
and it would have been better. And Shang-Chi came out what 3 years ago or something like that,
Hmm.
and we haven't seen anything from him since.
Yeah.
Whereas we always had those characters, and each movie led into another movie. We
Yeah.
don't have.
Making cameos and things like
Yeah,
that. You
yeah.
know.
So Marvel really kind of dropped the ball. That could have a lot to do with Bob Chapek being in charge. Now Kevin
Hmm.
Feige's back in charge, the Disney
Yeah.
Plus thing. But yeah, it's definitely not the way it was
Yeah.
back in phase 3.
It's like, is it me or are they looking like WB right now? You know
They
what I mean?
are. They are. Well, like financially, it's not that bad, but they're going in that direction. And
Hmm.
so much so, people are like, well, maybe it's time to do a Marvel reboot. No, why? Why do you need to reboot it? You have a Captain America, you
Hmm.
have an Iron Man, you have the Fantastic Four that you're dragging your feet on.
Yeah.
You have X-Men in your back pocket. Just pull the trigger. Stop giving
Yeah.
us these other characters like like in the comic books, Iron Man was like a C-level character in the comic books. They
Yeah.
made him an A-star. Now
Yeah.
they're taking Z-level characters like Eternals and trying to put them in the forefront. And I'm a
Yeah.
guy, I love the Eternals movie. I thought it was a good movie, but
Yeah.
it should have never been a solo movie right now. It should have been introduced in something.
Yeah.
And they
Should have
they
led
take
up
stuff,
to it.
yeah, and stuff that should have been movies,
Hmm.
they make into shows.
Yeah.
Hawkeye should have been a movie,
Hmm.
you know. Secret Invasion should have been a freaking Avengers movie.
Yeah.
It's just they dropped the ball. They got cocky.
Yeah. And I mean, there are a lot of things like the genre itself,
Mm.
it's had a really long run, It might go the way of the spaghetti western,
Yeah, I think
or
so.
so people
Yeah,
just might just be getting tired of it. Might be time to
it's superhero
refresh.
fatigue, man. It
Yeah.
is. A few months ago, I went to a movie with my girl. We went to go see that Jennifer Lawrence movie. I
Yeah.
forgot. It's the one where she's dating a little boy or something for a car. And I
Yeah.
remember sitting down in the theater and I look at my girl and I'm like, this feels good. And she's like, what? I'm like, we're going to see a movie that's not a franchise and not a superhero movie.
Yeah.
Like you go in with no expectation. I felt the same way when I saw Oppenheimer. It's
Yeah.
like I had like it just has a refreshing feel. When you
Hmm.
go to a superhero movie, it's just like you kind of know what you're gonna get.
Hmm.
I saw
Yeah.
Blue Beetle. I really enjoyed Blue Beetle. I thought it was a fun movie,
Yeah.
but I told everybody on my live stream, I'm like, this is what's going to happen in this movie because you could tell from the trailer. And everything I said happened in the movie. It's,
Yeah.
not details, but the story beats, about him getting his power, not
Hmm.
being good enough with his power, overcoming. It's the same story beat.
Yeah.
And like you said, like I think there's a superhero fatigue, and it's
Hmm.
kind of going to go away to like westerns and other genres like that, you
Hmm.
know?
Yeah. And maybe, get it off of the stove real quick, take it out of the oven, let it cool off. It needs to
Yeah.
cool off, and then maybe put it back in down the road. There's nothing wrong with that. It's
No.
for some reason it feels like they just can't quit it. they can't see that it's over, you know? So
Yeah.
it's kind of like a bad relationship. You just keep it going
Yeah.
because you don't know anything else or something. I don't know, man. I don't
Yeah,
know.
like DC, they're trying to reboot with the new Superman movie in DCEU. It's scheduled to come out in 2025.
Mhm,
They still have Aquaman 2 that
mhm,
hasn't been released yet.
mhm.
Dude, just don't release it. Just
Yeah,
don't release it. Because
yeah,
at this point, you need to go radio silence, right?
yes.
The Flash bomb, Blue
Mhm,
Beetle bomb,
mhm.
Aquaman is going to bomb.
Yeah.
Why release it? Take the tax cut like you did with Super or Batgirl
Mhm,
and go radio silent for like 3 years, release Superman in 2026 instead of 2025.
mhm.
And that way people will be like, man, we haven't seen a superhero movie in a while from DC. Let's see what this is about. And I think
Yeah.
Marvel needs to do that too. Marvel
Yeah.
needs to go back to 2 movies, and I think they need to get rid of all the Disney Plus shows, all of them. Like no
Yeah.
one cares about Agatha, no one cares about Echo.
Oh,
Just
dude.
just drop them all.
Yes, it's gonna be bad. They're in for a rough road ahead, dude. And just seeing the articles that are coming out on like just the parent companies, Disney and WB, it's like they're not in a good way right now. So
No,
they really need to just back up, take a minute, reevaluate these shows and movies that you have coming out and put on pause. And I
yeah,
think the what did I say? It's like, oh yeah, I was talking about The Witcher, right? And how, you know, with Henry Cavill gone, is there's no more draw for that show. You know what I
no,
mean? And the way that he left, whether you agree with it or not, it seems kind of to have poisoned the well. So I don't think that show is gonna it's not doing nearly the
it's
numbers that it did.
no,
And so
no,
I think the strikes, the writer and actor strike, it's a good way for them to kind of just quietly cancel it. And obviously the showrunners don't want to. They're making money
yeah,
off of it, you know, even when freaking Netflix isn't. But Netflix should come down and take history to the side. It's like with this strike going on, I think that we're going to have to cancel
yeah.
this show.
Yeah, and
You know?
I think other studios need to do that too.
Yeah.
I think with the strikes going down, I think they Marvel needs to look at and be like, yeah, we're gonna cancel Echo, we're
Hmm.
gonna cancel Agatha. Like,
Yeah.
there's no point. No one really cares about that stuff.
Hmm.
They announced somewhere like She-Hulk season 2. Why? No
Yeah.
one liked the first one. Why would you make a second one? You know? And as for Disney, they're not really helping themselves either
Hmm.
when you're putting out a Snow White movie
Oh
and
boy.
your actress is out there going, yeah, she's not gonna fall in love. She's about dreaming about the leader she wants to be, and then her being entitled to say, I need to get paid for every hour is streaming on a streaming service. Like,
Yeah.
you
Now,
know,
she does have a point, like with the residuals that people are on Netflix, they're not getting residuals for when they do that money. But when she says something like, "I should get paid for every moment I spend in this dress," it's like people like us are looking at it like it's like, especially if you look at someone who does like hard labor, construction or something
yeah,
like that, they're
yeah,
looking at her like she is a spoiled, pompous prick. You know what I
yeah,
mean? It's like I have to spend 14 hours out here freaking lifting bricks.
yeah,
You just have to spend,
in
what,
her dress.
14? Yeah. It's
Yeah,
like what a spoiled and
she's
pompous.
entitled.
Yeah,
A
very
lot of
entitled.
people in the young generation's entitled, but
Yeah.
see, I don't agree with the residuals
Mhm.
because here's the thing, and this is why I
Mhm.
don't agree with it. It's different with TV.
Yeah.
TV has commercials. The
Mhm.
stations are getting income. So when a show goes in syndication like Cheers or Smallville, right?
Mhm.
Or Fresh Prince of Bel-Air,
Mhm.
once they're in syndication, they're constantly getting ad revenue for that. So
Yeah.
the actors and people get that.
Yeah.
Unless you want ads in your Netflix shows or
Yeah.
Hulu shows or movies, there's no way to bring in any revenue.
Mhm.
It's just that's like someone saying, hey, Bethesda's like, hey, Xbox, every time someone's playing our game on Game Pass, you owe us money. There's no way to do that because people are paying a subscription fee. That's a
Yeah.
one time a month fee, right? So they're taking that money to fund other projects,
Mhm.
So if you're paying residuals to Rachel Ziegler for standing in a dress because every time someone watches Snow White on Disney Plus, she gets
Mhm.
a cut, and they
Mhm.
do that same thing for everything on their streaming service,
Yeah.
then there's not going to be any new content
Now
because
what yeah, go for it.
oh, good
What
because
if
there's no
yeah,
commercials.
yeah. Sorry, I keep cutting you off.
No,
But
you good.
what if they had a something in place where and it'd have to be verified, obviously, but if they can prove that people subscribe to the service to watch that show, you know what I mean? Because this happens all the time. People will, um, unsubscribe and subscribe for shows that they want to watch, binge it,
Here's
and
the here's
yeah,
here's the thing.
hmm
Netflix's number one show is Stranger Things.
hmm
I don't hear Millie Bobby Brown coming out and said I need to get paid every time
oh man,
someone streams Stranger Things. You know, House of Dragons was the number one show for HBO. I
hmm
don't hear the cast of House of Dragons coming out saying I deserve to get paid for every moment someone watches House of Dragons.
hmm
Maybe they are. I don't know. That is part of the strike.
yeah,
But if that's the case, Rachel Ziegler, guess what? There's a Lifetime channel you can go work on, and you can film Lifetime movies where you get ad revenue.
yeah,
You know, like what are we arguing about? You know, you
yeah,
don't hear football players going, "I should get paid every time I'm on TV in a game." From
hmm
like the ad revenue is the TV model is so much different than the streaming model.
yeah,
So the only way that they can ever do something like that is if they start playing commercials in
hmm
the beginning of every show and movie, and
hmm
people sign up for streaming services so we don't have to get commercials.
right,
You know,
and,
and not only that, you're getting paid to do a job. You signed a contract.
hmm
You get paid X Y $1 million to play Snow White, the
hmm
bastardization of Snow White. You're getting paid to play that role,
yeah,
right? Who cares if you're standing for 14 hours in a dress? I
hmm
spent 12 hours cleaning a goddamn ballroom carpet the size of a football field. I don't
yeah,
get paid every time someone steps on the carpet after it's been cleaned,
right,
you
okay,
know?
yeah.
So it's what you negotiate. It's a job.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, it okay, so the only I can see it I can see the residual thing working out, if they cancel it for, all across the board, or if there's some way to prove that, there's customers subscribing for that particular show. Maybe they
Now,
get a bite of that, you know?
now a way they can do this,
Mhm,
maybe not for Disney Plus or nothing, but
mhm,
like Amazon. You know, you go on there, you buy a movie, you rent a movie,
mhm.
right? Now, someone goes on and they buy Snow White,
Yeah,
whatever, and maybe she gets some residuals for the digital or physical purchases. That's
right on.
something she would have to negotiate
Yeah,
because someone's buying it.
yeah,
But as for streaming services, there's just no way you can do that. And that's
okay,
why the strikes are still going on
yeah.
because the studios are like, how the hell are we going to do that? Like, there's no way we can do that because we only have this amount of subscribers to our, like, say Disney Plus has 20 million subscribers, right?
Mhm,
They have that revenue coming in every month. That
yeah,
has to fund all these other projects,
mhm,
fund to have the hardware to stream the stuff. You
yeah,
can't pay every actor, every photographer, every director every time your thing is being streamed.
right
Like, there's
on,
no
okay,
way. I mean, it's not like YouTube. I get paid by YouTube because there's ads that stream in the beginning of it.
yeah,
It's just it's such a hard thing to talk, and if she
mhm.
keeps it up, she's gonna get blacklisted. She's not gonna work again.
Oh, there's already talks because she's gonna be in the Hunger Games, prequel,
Dude, I
and
am so torn on that because
yeah,
I love the Hunger Games. I
mhm,
love that damn book, but I
yeah.
hate her fucking guts.
To see, and that's the thing, right? She's kind of made herself, unhireable because of the way that she's acting with the Snow White,
Yeah.
with the Snow
I
White
seen her in
reboot
West
or
Side
remake.
Story. I mean, she was okay in West Side Story. She wasn't like
Mhm,
spectacular. She was
mhm,
in Shazam 2. She was okay.
mhm,
She's in whatever the Snow White thing is.
mhm,
But the way she's coming across,
mhm.
like, yeah, you keep talking too much crap. Like, Hollywood's just not gonna hire you. Go
Yeah.
ask Amber Heard how she's doing right now.
Amber
You
Heard
know?
and,
Yeah.
Jennifer, Lawrence, she almost had this issue too with the she got out out in front of the camera and started, talking a little too much. and she had to kind of take a pause and disappear for a little bit, and now she's starting to come back. I've
Yeah,
always liked Aniston, Jennifer Lawrence as an actress. She's done
so do
really
I.
well. She's so good. But it's a blessing and a curse, man, with all this stuff. Um, do the thing. We don't really need to hear so much on you know how you're doing. Like, remember when the lockdowns happened and Madonna took a bath in like milk or something and rose petals? That's not a good look, y'all. All the
Yeah,
freaking multi-million dollar actors out here, for people who are struggling to pay their mortgages and rent and things like that. Yo, keep that stupid shit to
yeah.
yourself.
I,
You know
I
what I
I
mean?
have a like I've been really on one side of the whole strike. A lot of my
Hmm.
friends that I stream with don't
Hmm.
see the same way I see it.
Hmm.
Um, I personally don't care about anybody that went on strike. I don't. Like
Hmm.
people are like, well, the writers are underpaid, the actors
Yeah.
are underpaid. I'm like, motherfucker, I worked 20 years at Walmart. I
Hmm.
know about hard times and crappy jobs.
Yeah.
If the writers are underpaid, find a different job. You know,
Yeah.
if the actors are underpaid, find a different job.
Hmm.
You're doing what you want to do. Negotiate what you want to negotiate.
Yeah.
Rachel Ziegler, if she wants to get paid for every hour she's standing up, then guess what? Sign a contract that you get paid overtime.
Yeah.
Just sign contracts.
I got
You
to give
know,
you that one too. As far as with the writers, it feels like it's oversaturated. And what they're doing is they're trying to kind of get these writer rooms shrunk down a little
yeah,
bit more because you don't need as many writers as they're having in there, you
yeah,
know? And so, you run into an issue where it's the cream of the crop, right? The the good ones are rising to the top and the bad ones are going to get let go. And I think that's how it should be. You know what I mean? But if high paid writers that, earned it aren't doing that well, I got an issue with that. You know what I mean? Like, for someone who wrote Edge of Tomorrow, a freaking bomb idea, and they executed, did a really great job executing it. I think they should get paid a decent amount, you know what I
yeah.
mean?
But Edge of
So,
Tomorrow was based on a comic book. All they did was adapt it. So
oh,
just
right on.
saying, just saying. So unless you want to pay the comic book writers more
Yeah.
money, but
Well,
but
I
I,
mean,
I I get what you mean. I get what you
yeah,
mean. Like the
yeah,
writers of Endgame and stuff. I get what you
right.
mean.
Yeah,
But you have to negotiate that,
yeah,
man. Like
yeah,
some of these writers get paid very, very well. You
mhm,
know,
yeah,
but you have to negotiate that. And if
yeah,
things aren't if you're not making as much money, eventually I left Walmart
mhm,
because I was being treated like shit.
mhm,
I wasn't getting paid. 20 years, I was only making $16
yeah,
for being in the same place for 20 years.
yeah,
And I left. I went and did this like carpet company thing, and I'm
mhm,
getting paid way more than I
mhm,
worked at 20 years of Walmart. If
yeah,
you're not happy doing what you're doing, find something else to do. You know,
100p. Yeah,
these writers feel like, well, I created this art and masterpiece. Well, you're writing this movie or show for a studio. It's like comic book writers, right? A
yeah,
lot of the comic book writers back in the day, like Jack Kirby, he was an artist, right?
mhm,
He didn't get paid for coming up with Black Panther or the Fantastic Four because he was hired to draw. You
yeah,
draw what Stan Lee or these other people tell you to draw, you
mhm,
know? And that's just the way it is. You're hired to do a job, you
yeah,
know? I don't know. I look at it differently than other people. I see the point of view,
yeah, yeah,
but at the same time, to go on strike,
yeah,
for certain things, it's like
mhm,
I don't know. I don't know.
yeah. No, and I get where you're coming from too. Um, like freaking, I was working temp jobs for a long, long time, and
Yeah,
I switched to doing what I do now, and we're with the inflation and everything, we're still doing okay. But
yeah,
yeah, it's like, just, switch jobs. It's going to be harder for these guys, I think. Well, I mean, you know what? That's subjectively, because there'll be
yeah,
a lot of them that are going to go to YouTube or, start writing their own comics and do really well. Look at freaking Eric July. You know what I mean?
yeah,
He
yeah.
decided to do his own thing and it paid off big time for him. You know what I mean? So,
Yep.
you know, when you look at something like like that, what happened, you're like, well, you really have all the opportunity in the world to make money, especially in this point in time, you know, internet, start a
Yeah.
blog, you know, right for video games. There are things you can do instead
Yeah,
of
yeah,
going on strike. So I get where you're coming from.
yeah,
You know.
yeah. But yeah, I'm gonna have to wrap this up because my girl just got home. But
Okay.
before I do, I want to get this last super chat though for Matt1306. He threw in $2. It said, "Did you see the Van Damme skin trailer?" Yeah, I watched it right before I came on.
Same.
He doesn't kind of look like Van Damme though.
No.
Like he's just like John. He just talks like John Claude Van Damme, but looks like Johnny Cage. I'm like, I will pick up the game when it comes out for $20.
Same.
Matt1306 threw another super chat in. $2. A game that needed is a Superman solo game. Yes, they need to do like the
100%.
Arkham games, but with Superman.
Yeah.
Scrap that god awful Suicide Squad game and just do Superman.
Yes.
But
Yes.
yeah. But all right, man. So anything else you want to hit on before we dip out?
No, I'm good. I will say though, there was a rendering that came out where they had Superman and it was just a basic render and it looked freaking fantastic. They need to make that game.
Yeah, they
They need to
do.
make it.
They absolutely do. I miss the old days of Super Nintendo and Sega where we had like tons of Superman and Batman games. Like
Yeah.
they weren't all good, but damn. But we definitely need a Superman game. Superman 64 cannot be the end. Well, actually, Superman Returns on PS3 and 360, I think, was the last one. But yeah, it
Right on.
wasn't good either. But all right, guys, thank you so much for watching. I will have the link to your channel in the description box below, so you guys can go over there and sub to him. And
Much appreciated.
hope you guys all have a good day. And that's all we got. So peace out, everybody. Later.